All right, let's keep it rolling, man. Let's keep it rolling. Know we on here a little bit late, but shit, we on like back to the regularly scheduled program. Look like, you know. So let's go and get it
Yes, Lord.
going. All right, so go ahead and get it going. My name is Brandon B. Dixon, MLS 1541210 is at being that loan officer on all social media. Uh, Along with the YouTube is at being that loan officer. Like, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend if you like the content. Go to my website, www.applywithb.com, if you want to go ahead and get mortgage done, or you want to refi, or you want to book me for a consultation. 832-775-8357. You can call me 24/7. Also, www.brandonbdixon.com if you want to get me on a real estate tip for leasing, listing, so on and so forth. And last but not least, clcinvestmentclub.com. If you want to mitigate your risk, you want to get into fix and flip, I got the people, and the mentorship, so on and so forth, private money, whatever you need. All right, Corey, I got you loaded up. Boom.
There we go. Corey Smith, broker owner, Commodore Mortgage, here for all your real estate needs.
Gotcha. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and get it on and popping. Let's waste no further, without further ado, waste no more time. I got a bunch of. I just went rando on you. You know what I mean? I was waiting for my food, so I just was, all right, selecting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Selecting. All right, ran on the feed. Boom. All right, cool. Capture it. So
That's
a lot
right.
of them I ain't even here. I ain't even peep out. So let's go ahead, run it, man. So let's go ahead, run it. See what. Sometime rando be good, man.
Mm-hmm.
So let's run it. See what happens.
Around being the neighborhood police.
These are all HOA fees.
And the money go up so high, you probably lose your house.
I will never buy another home with the HOA.
Homeowners in the Lester Point community in Fairburn say they're living in fear.
Oh, you got mail.
Scared to check the mail, expecting a daily fine, fee, or threat of one.
Look at it, another fine.
From their HOA.
Once I see it from them, I go into oblivious rage.
Rosalind Cash is known in the community for caring a lot about her lawn. But no matter how hard she tries, she says the letters still come.
I'm sick and tired of them wasting their 44 cents, I don't know how much stamp it is now, of sending me a letter and telling me I need to cut my grass.
Down the street, LeBron Weems is lost in the letters.
You just get to the point where you just don't want to open these no more, and you're just afraid what you're going to see.
LeBron went to mediation with the HOA in June to fight nearly $15,000 in fines and fees, primarily for hosting a room on Airbnb that hasn't been active for years, according to his account.
Last time I had my account up and posted on Airbnb was September the 21st, 2023.
But from September,
who's walking around being the neighborhood police?
Gotcha. So I don't know if you want to go first on that one.
Man, it's I think that's an extreme situation, an extreme circumstance, an extreme neighborhood, essentially. But you know what I'm saying, you'll find a lot of the people run into the same issues just because the people that's on the board and that's actually calling the shots are people that probably never had power in their life, never had a power position. So they're trying to abuse power now. Now they're trying to flex and do and be, kind of overly exaggerated as far as, the things that need to be done with these different houses. All them letters that the guy had, is ridiculous. What they was complaining about the lady about was ridiculous. But I think it's a common problem. But here's the thing, is that you could say that you won't buy a house in another HOA community, but wait till you see what happens when you go into a community that doesn't have an HOA. Then that's a whole new set of problems. Then you're back to a community with an HOA, but just maybe not as dramatic. So anyways, it was crazy situation. Crazy situation, but it's very unfortunate.
Well, like I said, it just depends. You got to do your research. There are neighborhoods like that that's over police, and then there's the ones that don't give a damn. You got to find something that's in the middle that suits your needs. I am in a community with no HOA. It doesn't have curb appeal, However, you do have the freedom to do what the hell you want.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like, do you want manicured or do you want, freedom? It's almost that's the choice. Like, so if freedom's come along with that freedom. Like, I got a neighbor with a above ground pool in his front yard.
Yeah, ain't nothing can be said.
And that's his prerogative.
Right.
So shit. I mean, but most of the houses, is you got. I really took a look at it today. Like, shoot, you got a little bit of everything right where I'm at. Like, but it's so far back off the street. There's no curb appeal. You might have. I'm next to a swamp. You might see deer and coyotes and quail and you know what I'm saying, and all kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the freedoms. If you want to see, if you want to live in the suburbs and you want the manicured house, and shoot, that's what come along with it. Come along with the territory. I mean, however, there is such thing as over policing. So it is what it is. But I think y'all got to be leery though too of them HOA bills. Don't forget you can't sell that property or nothing unless that stuff is paid.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't take that lightly. So all right, let's go to the next one. On this one, I know why I put this on this next one. You probably won't have no comment, but shit, this is dear to my heart. One of my other things that I'm into is dogs, so I put this in. I know this is totally off topic, but let's go ahead and run it. Maybe educate some people that don't know.
UK breeders, they give the dogs to the American breeders for free that have motion. They don't sell them to them for $100,000 like you think. They'll make a post making you think this dog was just sold to an American breeder for $150K because it gives it implied value. That UK breeder gave that dog to that American breeder that starts the pyramid scheme. So now the Americans think that dog is valuable, so they think those puppies are valuable, or they think that they got to pay that high stud fee. But then what happens when now they have puppies and they try to sell them where they don't have that same motion? They can't trick people because they're a nobody. A big breeder's got a following already, and he's kind of got hype around him already. So they're able to trick people. But if you don't have hype, them dogs ain't selling. No one wants those dogs. The only people buying those dogs are other breeders thinking they're going to make money off the dogs. These UK breeders.
Right. I know I'm talking Greek to most people, but yeah, man, anything people get their hands on, they start to sabotage. Don't forget absolute power. Wait, is it power corrupts? Absolute power corrupts absolutely is the old saying. But yeah, they got a lot of shady stuff going on. I mean, but it is true. I mean, it's kind of selling you a dream. A lot of times with the dog game, and people, get that dog because it got hype, it got a name, and people don't realize just because the dog, has a name, that doesn't mean the kid's gonna come out identical to what it looks like. If your female look like trash, there's only so much the male can do. So what happens is, you pay these big name stud fees, and then expect to have the puppies and use that motion off his name, but the puppies look like trash. And then you get mad because you can't sell the dogs. So, but that's the game, If you want, I get it, you buy a piece of his motion. You want to name drop his name. Oh, this is such and such son. But when such and such son don't look nothing like such and such, it's like Bronny James. Like Bronny James' game ain't the same as LeBron James. The hype got him in the league, but it ain't for too long that you can say, hey, this ain't LeBron. But right. People want their money like it's LeBron. It ain't LeBron. So he got him that look. The name got him that look, but shit, it's the same in the dog game. If the dog ain't hitting on it, ain't hitting. So it is what it is. I know that that's your facility, but I just wanted to put that out there. And I know I grabbed that. I mean,
yeah. Hey, look, you know what I'm saying? I ain't got much to add to it.
Right.
Just be careful. Everybody got a trick.
Right. So I mean, but they sell these people a dream, thinking that, hey man, this is LeBron's son. Just be smart. Bronny ain't LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
It's a difference.
there's a difference. You know what I mean? So let's leave it like that. All right, let's go to the next one. I think I put this in there because I like these dudes hustle.
All right, man. So this week I grossed $31,360 between 4 of my non-CDL box trucks, 2 that's OTR, and 2 I got on a dedicated contract. I'm gonna give you guys the gross and net profit of each truck. All right, so our net profit between all 4 trucks is $14,869.20. In fuel, we spend a total of $5,368.64 between all 4 trucks. My 2 trucks on the contract, that's dedicated pay, so they make $8,700 per week for each truck. And then my trucks OTR, one day $8,100, the other one day $5,860. All expenses are posted below in the comments for each truck. When it comes to OTR, it's going to be all about how you dispatch. I want to learn how to dispatch. Go cop the Go Dispatch course, link in the bio. The course is 40% off. These are numbers you can make with a non-CDL box truck. You got to have a good driver, got to have a good dispatcher, and most of all, you have to have a good MC. If you already know authority, you may not see numbers like this because a lot of brokers won't work with you. Once you hit that 1 year mark, you will be able to work with more brokers. So your gross revenue will increase. All right, man. So this week I grossed $31,300.
All right, this is another game that's lucrative. I mean, but you got to have experience.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
box trucks. A lot of people think the only way to make money is if you got a CDL. That's not necessarily true. You can have the box truck, which you can have a regular license with, and you can have those vans, those transport vans, the courier vans, make a lot of money. So I would say a lot of times, boys go get that new, Scat Pack or something like that, man. Get you a couple trucks, and then have that pay for the Scat Pack. That
Right.
make the money. Yeah, you get you a couple drivers in, get your cousin, get parolee, that you just got out of jail. Shit, let them drive and shit. You dispatch and make the money. But this is the new economy where you're gonna have 3-4 things, man. This is what it is.
You got to have multiple streams. Got to have multiple streams.
Yeah, so it's not going back.
I like the hustle. You know what I'm saying? I like the hustle that he got, but you know what I'm saying? The biggest thing is that you got to have it boils down to being a people's game. If you can't find good drivers to drive them trucks, those numbers look completely different. If you got lazy drivers, you know what I'm saying, that coming up with excuses every other day about why they can't drive or why they can't make it to work, you'll run into completely different numbers from those. So the biggest thing, if you want to jump into that game, is make sure you got you some good drivers, which is what he said in the video. That is first and foremost. Everything else is kind of secondary. But as long as you got good drivers, you know what I'm saying, you can make those numbers, make some good money.
Right. My thing is too, not just that, but don't be afraid to hire strangers, man. Sometimes strangers make the best employees. Sometimes, so don't be afraid if you don't know nobody. Put the ads out there, invest in, Indeed account, invest in a Ladders account. Invest in one of those and find you somebody, man. Screen them out. Get somebody with experience and go from there. It don't always have to be somebody you know.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes strangers are the best anyway because they don't know you.
Mm-hmm.
So. Other than that, let's go to the next one, man. I got quite a few, so I'm gonna keep these rolling.
Let's roll it. Let's eat it.
So I really ain't listening.
Yesterday, I heard a content creator say that poor people don't like to be told that they're poor. And the reason is because as long as they're not told they're poor, they can live in a delusion that things aren't as bad as they are. And I think that's true when it comes to talking about real estate. New construction is cute. It's cute when you can afford it. It is a burden when you can't. And this is what I mean. Just because you think you can't afford it at a 6.5% rate and someone offers you a 3.99 or a 4.99 rate, you probably can't afford it then either. And that is a hard pill to swallow for some people. Watch this math. By all budgeting calculators, if you earn $5,000 a month, you should not have a payment more than about $1,500 a month. If when you talk to me, I say, hey, this isn't going to work because at this market rate, your payment is 54% of your gross monthly income, we won't be able to move forward. It doesn't make it more affordable that you can go right down the road and get a payment that's 45% of your monthly gross income. You cannot afford it. It is unhealthy. It is irresponsible. But we're going to let you do what you want to do. Just make sure that when you do it, do not get on the internet crying and complaining about it. Yesterday, I heard a content creator say that.
I'll let you get first stab at it.
I think she hits all the right points on that one. Because, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day, people that are financially irresponsible are going to figure out reasons to be that way. And when they end up in a pickle or they end up in a destitute situation, they want to try to blame somebody else for the decisions that they made. So many times, you know what I'm saying, we in this business, we know just looking at a person's financial situation, that they really shouldn't be buying this price house. Like, buy a house, but buy a house that's a little bit more reasonable. Don't go ridiculous. And you know what I'm saying, you got all these credit cards and all this other stuff, you know what I'm saying? You essentially living paycheck to paycheck. We're barely getting you in this house by the skin of your teeth. You really shouldn't be buying this house right here. But people justify because they want people to come into the house and be like, they buy houses, you know what I'm saying, to impress other people instead of impressing their budget. So I definitely, you know what I'm saying, agree with what she's saying in the video, because, you know what I'm saying, it's something that we deal with on a consistent basis, on a day-to-day basis, where you're having that battle where, you know what I'm saying, you want a person to be a little bit more financially responsible, but they refuse to, and they come up with every excuse not to. Now, we, as a business, from a business standpoint, you've already sold yourself on why you got to have this house, why you got to have this high price house with a payment that you can't afford. So you're going to get this house regardless anyway. So we're going to sell it to you. We're going to help you get it if that's what you want. We're going to talk to you first, but we're going to help you get it. But when you end up in the red and you end up underwater, don't look for somebody to blame. Don't look at me to blame, because we had this conversation and you completely chose to ignore it.
Right. I mean, I've had a situation like that earlier that where luckily I knew the guy, you know, he was a brother of mine. So I just had to, you know, sit him down and say, hey, you barking up the tree. It's too much house. You know, so, you know, and I wind up finding them a better house anyway that fit their budget better. You were looking at upper fours and like, nah, bro, it's too much house. You know, for where you want to be comfortable. What I do I know I'm giving out loan officer tips is you got to know, I have a formula I'm not going to give you the whole formula because everybody will bite my stuff and then use it, but you got to have it where you could deconstruct. You got to ask them, let me ask you this, client, how much do you want your note to be? Right? They're going to spit out a number. And then I'm going to tell them, based on that, you need to be around here to here. Right? And that's where you need to be if you're comfortable. You know, what you're looking at, your note's going to be here. Are you comfortable with paying that plus more? No. All right. Let's I call it bringing them to earth, bringing them down to earth. You know, so you got to bring them. They're out of space. They don't know. I'm going to bring you back to earth and make it realistic. So you got to have a loan officer that's knowledgeable to know where the product, his market, his or her market, how much house to get for based on the payment that the client wants.
Yes.
You got to be able to have the quick calculation. I'm not gonna give you my formula, but it's damn near dead on. And those taxes vary, give or take, but it's a good ballparking, and so I'm able to deconstruct the conversation, and know. Based on that, I very seldomly get people that get too much house. I had that conversation earlier. My mentor, Mattress Mac, always used to say, "Don't run from it, run to it." Run to what's going to be the situation. Let them know up front. That way, there's no issue on the back end. They said Disneyland is the Disneyland tactic, right? Or Disney World tactic. Disney World has signs in the front of the line when you try to get on a ride. Hey, this ride going to take you about 30, 45 minutes to get on. Up front, they got a sign in. Because what happens is when you get in there 20 minutes, oh, damn. It seems like, it's your lucky day. But if they didn't have signs and you 20 minutes, you're like, damn, it takes forever. And then people go to complaining. But they let them know, hey, it's going to take you about 35 to 45 to get on this ride. Let them know.
Absolutely.
So it's called the Disneyland, Disney World effect. Let people know up front what's going on. Hey, this is going to be a little bit out your budget, man. If you looking at this house, it's going to be about this. Are you comfortable with this? No? All right. Well, you need to taper those dreams off. You need to be here. Let them know. And that nips that in the bud. Anything else you got on this?
Nope.
All right, let's go. Let's go to the next one. We had a couple of clips on this one. I didn't know which one to clip, so I think I clipped them out.
I'm going to be honest with y'all. I thought they were taking Section 8 away, and that's not what they're doing. Basically, what Trump is proposing is he wants people to stop being lazy. So what a lot of people do is they get on Section 8, and then they try to be on there for the rest of their life when that's not what it's supposed to be. So basically what the Trump administration is proposing is you stay on Section 8 for 2 years. In those 2 years, you get yourself together and you get some type of financing so you can pay to get out of Section 8. And I can't be mad at that. Me being a landlord, there's going to be a lot of budget taxes and cuts and all those different things as far as tenants having to go but not having financing and things like that. So it's some things that has to get tweaked, but the overall of this budget or administration and what they're trying to impose, I can't be mad at it. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I thought they were taking Section 8 away.
Right, what you think, man? What you heard about that?
It's shameful to say, but I think in a lot of cases, people aren't going to do better until they're forced to do better.
Right.
That's all it is. People will be on Section 8 for the rest of their life, which is why the line is so long, just because, that once people get on, they don't want to get off because it's being taken care of. And I've seen it to where, people have a full-time job making a decent wage, and I have no idea how they buck in the system. But they are making a great wage, but somehow it's still having Section 8 paying 100% of their rent. Don't know how they're doing it. But it's a complete abuse of the system, and especially when there are a lot of people out there, thousands and millions of people out there that actually hurting and actually need the program. But you have people that's actually abusing it. So I have no problem, with the help, with the assistance. But there has to be a line drawn in the sand. And I think, even though I don't agree with a lot of stuff he do, this one is, one that I definitely agree with.
Gotcha. Like I said, this was one of the part of the campaign things that he campaigned on. I think that's what made this country great. Is the last, like my mentor always said, I'm gonna refer to my mentor a lot on this. This particular, the last 4 letters of American is I can. So where's I can do it? I think when they brought these programs out, I guess the heart was right, but at the same time, abuse, the good have to suffer for the bad. Too many people abuse the system or use it as part of life, and it should be a part of life. It should be a stepping stone, and then what happened, it became generational. You know, so and then why should you get rewarded for less subpar behavior or not right behavior? I don't think you know. I don't think you should get rewarded for that.
Agreed.
You know, so like I said, you know, it should be a step up or a helping hand up, not a way of life. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So this is another clip on the same subject. Again, I clipped a couple of different ones. I know which one was the best because I was in a rush. So let's see what he got.
A lot of y'all ain't about to like what I'm about to say and talk about right now. But a lot of y'all about to be mad. But I told y'all we have to start pushing ownership. Look, see, this what's happening. White House proposes eliminating Section 8 vouchers and cutting rental assistance by 40%. Now, look, this all over media. I don't know how true this is, but all I'm going to say, I told y'all, man, we have to stop leaving our destiny and our livelihood in these people's hands. We have to start getting out and trying to think how we do better for ourselves. See, some people been on Section 8 for 20, 30 years and they pass it on to they kids like it's a legacy. You feel what I'm saying? So now with the government, you leaving your kids and everybody self in their hands. The government is saying we cutting back. Especially y'all saying Trump. Remember first we was talking, we don't know if this is true or not, but now it's all over media. Y'all checking this. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts. But that's what I'm saying. This is why I'm pushing ownership. That's why I wear these shirts by the block back. That's why I'm pushing. We have to start doing better. We can't leave our hands, our life, and our destiny in these people's hands, especially when cost of living is so goddamn high, man. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts on this, man. What do y'all think about this? What are y'all thoughts? I'm just saying. Tap in.
I like the first one better, man. But with it.
Look, my thing is, you know what I'm saying, you know, it's kind of like what Charlemagne the God always say, you know what I'm saying? Nobody cares about the truth when the lie is more entertaining. And, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to this media stuff, you know what I'm saying, people do these videos half-cocked, they haven't done their research, they don't know what's going on, so on and so forth. And they go out here and do these videos and they get everybody in an uproar. And they either one, don't know the whole story, or two, don't know any part of the story. You know what I'm saying? They just took a snippet that somebody told them and they just ran with it. Didn't take the time to do the due diligence themselves. In these two videos that we're looking at, you know what I'm saying, either one of them could be false. Either one of them could not know the whole story and be telling the story. But if I had to pick a side of the fence, I would pick the side of the first one. The first one seems a little bit more logical than the second one. To completely do away with that, you know what I'm saying, and do away with 40% is absolutely asinine. It's the same thing as, you know what I'm saying, when people talk about Social Security going away, it's completely asinine. There's no way it's going to happen because it's going to affect too many people. It's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? People use it as clickbait. You know what I'm saying? We want to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? We use it as clicks and it's great conversation topics and all this other stuff. But the truth of the matter is, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to the realistic situation and how many people are going to be affected, it's just absolutely not going to happen. There's just no way. So in this situation here, you know what I'm saying, if I had to lean to a video, I would lean towards the first one. The first one seems a little bit more logical to me. It seems a little bit more factual, in all honesty. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, people have to get off their ass and do something. That's the bottom line of both videos.
Right. Well, I think it's called rage baiting. They try to, you know, cause rage and outroar and stuff like that. Half of it don't be true. But you know, again, I don't know the actual facts on it, but it was part of the campaign trailer in Section 8 forever. I'm with that. You know, I think people need to stop, you know, trying to game the system. And I think it hurts more than it helps, you know, especially if people abuse it, you know. So let's go on to the next one. I mean, I don't want to keep beating the dead horse. You know. Let's see what he's talking about.
Okay, guys, this is what you do when your seller wants to take their listing off the market. They're going to come to you. They're going to say, hey, Ricky, we're not getting any showings. We're not getting any activity. We don't really care if it sells or not. We've reduced the price so many times. You know what? We're just going to take our home off the market and say, okay, that sounds really good. But look here. You don't care if it sells. You don't care if it doesn't sell. We haven't been getting any showings. What does it hurt if we actually just leave it out there? Because you know what? You never know. No harm, no foul. They're like, okay, sure, whatever. Just leave it on there. You're like, yeah, I'm going to leave it on there until it either sells or you tell me to stop. We're just going to leave it on there forever. How's that sound? Oh, okay, cool. Who cares, right? And guess what happens? Now you get to stack listings to the moon, and you don't have other agents calling your client when it expires, right? I had listings for literally years, and guess what happened? They sold. Right? So this is what I want you to do. I want you to keep getting listings. I want you to keep keeping listings. That's the name of the game right now. Okay, guys, this is what
we've made it to our crown.
You agree or disagree?
I agree. What does it hurt? So you know what I'm saying? Nobody's asking you for another price reduction. When you're in a market like we are now, it's not to say your buyer, it will not come along. But when your buyer does come along and your house is perfect for them, you want to at least have your name in the hat. You don't want to be sitting on the sidelines. That's for certain. So
doesn't it hurt like when you see days on market 365? Isn't that going?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Isn't that going to signal desperation?
Because look, here's the thing. Let's just say you want to sell your house for $350, for example, whatever the case may be. If somebody comes along and they say, hey, look, you know what I'm saying, his house been sitting on the market for 120 days. I'm going to offer him 300. You have every right to say no. Either you pay 350, you know what I'm saying, or I just continue to sit on the market. Like nobody's telling you that you have to take a deep discount. All we're saying is that, you know what I'm saying, if you truly want to sell your house, you got to have your name in the hat. That's all.
Right. But yeah, I mean, I semi agree. I think like relisting it though too, but you know they can see through that though too. You know, so it is what it is. Like I said, my house didn't sell like until 10 months. It was set on the market 10 months. You know what I mean? So sometimes it be like that. This is what it is.
And look, especially depending on the market, you know what I'm saying? And then sometimes you just got to offer some kind of incentives or something like that to try to get rid of it. But at the end of the day, eventually it's going to turn. And when it does turn, you know what I'm saying, it's better to have it on the market than trying to prepare for it to get on the market and compete.
Right. All right, let's hit this next one. Again, I put a bunch of them on there while I was waiting for my food, man. So put a bunch of so a lot of them I ain't really listen to, but
So my landlord just left my house. I get a knock at the door. It's Saturday, a little bit before noon. I open it. It's my landlord. I'll let her in. She hands me this. She's giving me 24-hour notice that Section 8 is not paying my June rent tomorrow. Rent is due tomorrow. $1,100. $1,100. She expects me to come up with. Because they are no longer paying my rent, I have to pay it out of my pocket. I don't work. I'm not going to work. I will never have a job, ever. How does the government expect me to keep a roof over my 6 kids' head without Section 8? Just because I've been on it for 13 years doesn't mean I don't need it anymore. I need it now more than ever. $1,100. And you expect me to come up with that in 24 hours, or I have to get out. So pretty much, I'm going to be out on the streets because there's no way I can come up with $1,100. So
I'll let you go in on that one first.
It's shameful to say, you know what I'm saying, but you know what I'm saying, it's hard pressed to help me understand, you know what I'm saying, that it's not a mental handicap that people don't understand exactly what they're saying and how to make sense of what they're saying. So 13 years and You have no job, no plan on getting a job, none of that stuff. And I can tell you right now on any Section 8, I don't care what government, you know what I'm saying? There's policies in place. She knew it was coming. They send letters out way ahead of time. They don't just pop up and say, oh, look, we're not paying rent the day before. Now, her landlord popped up the day before and said that and finally took action. Now, that's on her landlord, but I guarantee Section 8 sent a letter out at least 30 days before they said they was going to cut the water off. And what she did is, hey, look, I'm not going to do anything until I hear from my landlord. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit on my ass and I'm going to force my landlord hand. She's going to have to tell me something. So then when her landlord shows up 24 hours before, you know what I'm saying, the due time, now she feels like, oh, well, I am a victim. When I guarantee she knew way ahead of time. So in situations like this, you know what I'm saying, it sucks, but it's hard to give sympathy towards it because I know the real situation. Like all the facts and details are not being told on this video. This video is being made to get sympathy, to get some kind of assistance from people, because I guarantee that's what it is. It's like, hey, I'm looking for somebody to, you want to donate to my GoFundMe, or you want to cash at me some money, or whatever the case may be, because you feel sorry for my situation. That's what I want. Even though I still have to probably get out of this house, or even though I still raise the money, the $1,100 to pay for this thing tomorrow, I'll still run into the same issue next month because I don't plan on getting a job. It's a hard situation for me because, you know what I'm saying, again, it's a sad situation. You never want to see anybody homeless. But when people make their bed, they gotta lay in it.
Man, I hope she was trolling, man. I hope this was a real situation. I hope this was like a spoof or a skit. You know, so I hope this was a real. I hope people had got this far from reality. Like, so the entitlement is outrageous. So you're entitled for people to pay your rent, the government to pay your rent.
Mm-hmm.
So you're entitled for them to take care of your sick kid that you laid down and made. So where's the responsibility? Then where's the gratefulness that you got 13 years of free rent? Be grateful that you got that long. You know, so it's, again, entitled to nothing, grateful for everything is my motto. And people in the society is the opposite. They're entitled to everything, grateful for nothing.
Yeah. Yep. Not appreciative of the 13 years.
Yeah.
We just pissed off because the water cutting off.
Right. So you should have got on your grind that 13 years and stack. To where that $1,100 ain't nothing. You know? Said no rent, you living free for 13? Shoot. That's a blessing. But people complain. Take. Me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the new, I guess, society, the new normal, I guess. You know, then there was their case that that's not what you country can do for you. That's what you do for your country. That's all long gone. That generation gone, I guess.
It's out of there. It's out of there.
You know, I want mine. You know, so let me go ahead. You know, so let's go ahead and run this next one. All right.
People and middle class people feel like everything is expensive because they pay for things with money they've exchanged their time for. So they feel like they're paying for everything with their life because they are. So let's say I've got some money. We're going to call this some money. I got some money and I want to buy this car and I've got some time. So what I do is I take some of my time and I trade my time to somebody for some money and they give me the money. The money, I don't have the time anymore because the time's gone and I can't get it back. It's gone forever. So then I see this car and I'm like, I got this money that I changed my time for, and I'm going to take this money that I've changed my time for, I'm going to trade that in for this car. So now I don't have the time and I don't have money anymore, but now I have the car. And now the car is becoming worth less over time, right? So I've traded an invaluable asset for a limited asset and then traded the limited asset for a depreciating asset. And I wonder why I'm getting broken. Poor people and middle-class people feel like everything.
I know that probably went over a whole bunch of people's head.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'll let you get a first stab at it.
It's the difference between the haves and the have-nots. Some people fortunately understand that you can't necessarily trade time for dollars. And some people, you know what I'm saying, they're conditioned to be, that's the only way of life is to trade time for dollars.
Right.
What he's saying makes 100% sense, even if you have to play that video 5 or 10 times just to kind of slow it down and process everything that he's saying. But you're talking about a millionaire, possible billionaire, that's actually telling you how it works, how you have to change your mind. And he's not reinventing the wheel. It's the same wheel that's always been there, but you just chose to ignore it because we're looking at the paycheck to paycheck wheel. We're looking at the I just want to survive wheel. We're not looking at, okay, well, you know what I'm saying, this is how a successful person has done it. Let me try to see how that wheel works. I think 100% what he's saying is real, you know what I'm saying? And I agree 100% with what he's saying. At the end of the day, you can't trade time for dollars. And even if you do trade time for dollars, you have to put those dollars towards a valuable asset that is going to get you a return, that is going to double itself, it's going to triple itself, it's going to quadruple itself. You can't put that in a depreciating asset and then wonder why you can't get ahead. It just doesn't make financial sense. So, you know, I recommend, you know what I'm saying, a lot of people kind of go back and take a look at that video because I guarantee a lot of people didn't get it on the first turn. You're going to have to go back and look at that several different times before you get it.
I think they don't get why it's such a big deal. You know, that's what I think they don't get. The main thing he said, that time that you're never going to get back, I think a lot of youngsters and a lot of this, some old people think, I mean, older our age, what I say, not old, but think they got a limited time. You only hear shit, 3 people from the 80s kick the bucket, all of them less than 75 years old. And these rich folks that, you know, live good, supposedly, right? You know, eat the best of food, get catered food, and had the best doctors and stuff like that. So those people have limited lives. So that's, you know, about 70 years old with the American diet, man. That's about it. You got about 70 piece on this thing, 70 summers. You know?
That's it.
So that time, yeah, I'm working a job. I got a nice car, but I'm going to work, and you know, and I get this 1 week vacation, and I'm going back to work and never getting ahead. I'm a paycheck away from going underwater. How long you gonna do that before you're unable to do it? You one accident away, one sickness away. So people live life on the edge, man. That's what people think I'm crazy. Oh man, you don't go no cruise last week. Don't go on no cruise. Man, I got time for all that later on. You know? So I can't get burned out. That's a candle gets burned out. You know, so you grind, get to a position to where later on I can enjoy that stuff. You know, and then when I go,
how come you can't enjoy it now, Obi?
I don't like to do, and again, I think you taking it too personal. I don't like to do stuff half fast. When I like to do
what that fast?
I don't like to do stuff half fast. I'm not that type of cat.
Okay. I got you.
When I like to do stuff, I like to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I don't like to go on vacation on a budget. I don't like to go, you know, I don't like to half-fast cut corners. I'm a 5-star type of cat, like my mentor, Magic Mac used to he do stuff first class all the way on. He don't do it. You know, that's how I like to do it. I don't like the budget cruise. I don't
we,
like.
what we talk about though, B, you know what I'm saying? How do you do vacation? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about? Private jets? You know what I'm saying? You got to do private jets on vacation? What are we talking about?
I'm talking about private jets. I'm talking about. I like to do it. You know, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it.
That's the only way you're gonna take a cruise. B, stop.
Yeah, I gotta. I mean, I wouldn't want to like have to watch. If I decide I want to stay out there 2 weeks, yeah, I like this. I'm gonna go ahead and stay out there 2 weeks. That's what I want to do. What I want to do there. I don't want to have. All right, I got 3 days. You know, I don't like that. You know, that's just me. You know, I like to. If I'm gonna do something, I like to do it. If I want, I like to go with the flow.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with going with the flow on a specific period of time.
Nah, that ain't with the flow. That's on the crush.
I mean, you got to book your plane ticket, B. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. Not if it's
I got a week. I got a week to either relax, ball out, whatever it is that I'm gonna do.
That's another thing. I don't like if I want either stay or I want to buy. Look, man, I like this piece of artwork. Wrap it up. You know what I'm saying? I like actually I like this house. Let me go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and rent this thing for a month. I'm gonna stay out there a month. I like to do stuff like that. You know?
B, life is short. Life is short. And you missing that thing. You missing that thing. You know what I'm saying? Waiting on the grand gesture or whatever you call that.
Right.
The grand, you know what I'm saying?
Two things. Let me said,
okay.
A friend of mine had this conversation. Me and a friend of mine had this conversation a couple of weeks ago. From the great E40, he said one of the hardest lines on the planet. He said, "I hibernate until I get my paper straight." That's it. That was the line. That was so intricate. It was yet so simple.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's I think at that time E40 was at a different level.
Yeah, but the line still was real. This was like a 2010 album. He said, "I hibernate till my paper straight." Number one. And then number two, Tom Brady said the hardest thing too when he won his first Super Bowl. He said, "Man, all them bitty ball practices, all from high school, college, all the long practices, long nights, all the traveling, all the reps, all the body stuff, all led to this one moment right here of him winning the Super Bowl."
Yep.
So it's the journey that you got to enjoy, not the end product. I think a lot of people just want the end product. I want that immediate gratification. But if I build that thing up, and then, man, look, now I'm in the Super Bowl status. I just built it up all these years. I'm gonna enjoy it more because I just did. All right, I give you an example. I give you the third example. This is me. This is the mind of brand. I'm not advising anybody to do this. Do what you want to do. It's your life.
All right.
But when I was into bodybuilding, when I was into strict dieting, when you go that month, 3 months, no sugar, no bread, no rice.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
That's tough. That's tough.
No cheat meals. Man, you had a piece of cake or something. You happier than the little kid. You know what I'm saying? It's the build up. And that simplest stuff you enjoy because you earned that. I can eat this cake. And you just, you know what I'm saying? It's the big, I can eat this cake and not have no worries. But if you just doing, I do a couple of push-ups and eat this cake, it ain't the same. You see what I'm saying? But I don't advise everybody to be me.
Right. But you know what I'm saying? You don't think, in your example, you don't think, you know what I'm saying, before Tom Brady won his first Super Bowl, you don't think during the offseason he took vacation?
Nah,
in between working hard?
You're missing the point. It ain't got nothing to do with the vacation. It's a metaphor, an analogy.
It is an analogy. You know what I'm saying? What you're talking about is, you know what I'm saying, he was focused on the goal. He worked hard to get to the goal before he was able to relax. Was your point?
Right.
My point
You're
is
taking it to vacation. That's not the point.
Yes, B, you know what I'm saying? Because right now what you're trying to do is you're trying to equate that to the fact that you're honed in and you're focused on actually doing nothing and not taking a vacation until you actually reach this goal. So what I'm saying is that you got to have a pit stop along the journey at some point.
Your philosophy. My philosophy is I'd rather do delayed gratification. And it's not just vacation, it's just how I'm wired.
All right.
Yeah. So it's not about the vacation. It's about
to each his own.
Yeah, it's about again, I don't advise everybody to go my route.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying, you will feel like a new person, and it will re-energize your hustle if you just took a break, you know what I'm saying, and just say, look, I'm finna just say, even if it's going to Lake Cairo, I don't care where you go, you know what I'm saying, you go up there for a couple of days, whatever the case may be, it'll re-energize your hustle.
No, I disagree.
Okay.
Yeah, I disagree. I mean, for me, maybe some people, maybe regular people, yeah. You know what I'm saying? But not for me. I feel like a waste of time.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'll be more
to each his own.
Yeah, I like to, when I like to do stuff, I like to do it.
All right, go ahead, go for it.
Yeah, I like to do it all the way. I ain't gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? So that's just me. Let's get this next one.
All right.
No, I'm talking to Mr. Barnham. I'm finna get irritated, bro. I swear to God. And y'all doing this shit in the cold. It's cold outside. It do.
How you think he felt and he ain't got no rent money? How you think?
We been in here. If he really wanted his rent money that bad, it wouldn't have been this problem.
I wouldn't be here if we didn't have a problem. So it's a problem. He don't even want y'all money at this point. He just want his house back.
Oh, that is irritating. They y'all doing this in the cold, bro. How would you say
How you think he feel if he ain't got no
money? It ain't like she
he ain't got it.
Told us nothing.
So
when my mama went to court, ain't nobody give her no information. What you talking about?
So
ain't nobody give her no number, no contact information, no email, no nothing. Ain't nobody let her know nothing, but y'all want to put us out.
Someone once said, ignorance of the law doesn't give you an excuse to break it.
Right.
What you saying? Bro, I'm getting irritated, cuz like this shit so weak, and then it's early in the morning. It's early in the morning. It's 10 something, it's snowing outside, it's cold. How would you feel if it was you?
how do you think the homeowner feel?
Quit arguing. How would you feel if it was you? Okay then.
I feel a little bad for her, man. Hurdle.
How would you feel with your mom? How would you feel with your grandma? Get put out. Ain't like she can't pay the money.
He never received any money. That's the problem.
But y'all don't want to understand, but y'all want to put somebody out.
He ain't received no money all year.
Like, bro, like my mama said.
It's not fair to him. He still have financial obligations. Even though he don't receive any payments from y'all, he still is held liable by the bank to make payments. Even though he don't receive a payment from y'all, he still got to get paid.
Okay, I understand that, but who fault is it? We don't know nothing. That's
So
what I'm not getting. It's not like y'all keep saying it's his obligation. I understand that, but we don't know nothing. No, I'm talking to Mr. Barnham. I'm finna get irritated, bro. I swear to God. Then y'all doing this shit in the cold.
Oh, I looped over. You want to go ahead first on that?
Go ahead, B. I'll let you have it first.
I mean, it's just another same toilet. I mean, different, boo-boo. Same toilet. So it's the same thing. You blame everybody else except yourself. You know, somebody had to notice you ain't pay no rent in 2 years. Which I don't know what you. In another word, the E40. I don't know what you thought you was when you were thinking, but you shouldn't have thought that. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
you got to pay. That's how it goes. You got to pay your rent. I don't care. I'm pretty sure that he had a place to send the money. I'm pretty sure that they said, "All right, cool. I'll holler at you when you
Yeah.
start to leave."
How about sending the money to the same place you've been sending it for the past 12 months, 13, 14 months, however long? You know what I'm saying?
Right,
How about that?
Right. So it sounds like an excuse to me. So I mean, but people play this game like they play this victim game or play this I don't know nothing, game, and that's supposed to make everything be okay. I guess I don't know. All right. Oh, since you ain't know, okay, well, you don't have to pay no rent. All right. Where's that ever been real?
Delusional.
So again, the victimhood, man, the victimhood. Everybody, you irritated about that man was irritated when he didn't get no rent for a couple of years.
I mean, as they talk about, you know what I'm saying? As I said earlier, man, it's a mental mind state, man. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a mental handicap where people can't process it. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like the lady was trying to explain, like, you know what I'm saying? He owed money to the bank and he got to still make those payments to the bank. You know what I'm saying? Even though you've been sitting in here. And the first thing out of her mouth was, I understand that. Well, how the fuck do you understand that? You know what I'm saying? And you ain't paying your portion. This man has carried you guys for 2 years, you know what I'm saying? But yet you understand, like, he owes money to somebody else, but he's supposed to continue to let you guys stay there for free. It's
and he's supposed to wait till it's not snowing and sunny outside to put y'all
and
out.
he's supposed to wait, you know what I'm saying? And here's the thing, you know what I'm saying? She already admitted that they went to court. So you already knew this was coming.
Right.
Again, you know what I'm saying? This is a process where, you know what I'm saying, people do nothing when they're notified. And they wait to the last minute and then they want to play victim. At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, when you look at it, I didn't really see anything packed. She still had the whole house, you know what I'm saying, with stuff left in there. You know what I'm saying? Like everything's still set up, whatever the case may be. It's just like come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all went to court. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about? You don't go to court just because they saying, hey, we like her. Like, come on, man. Like, it's hard for me to feel bad for somebody in this situation. It sucks because, you know what I'm saying, it's somebody else that's on the street. They probably got to go. I don't know what they're going to do with their stuff. A whole bunch of that stuff is probably going to end up getting thrown away because she chose not to pack it.
Right.
But guess what happens? You know what I'm saying? This becomes a sad story that she continues to tell for the next few people or whoever has 2 ears, and then hoping that somebody's going to give money for her to replace those things that essentially she knew she was throwing away anyway.
Right. I think
because she chose not to pack them.
Well, I think a lot of people, the dopamine hit of telling a sad story actually feels better than the win. You really won. You really looking at it wrong. You really made out for 2 years. You ain't pay nobody rent. So you should have plenty of money because you ain't
made out like a fat rat. But look, that's the same situation as the Section 8. Right. You should be fined for 13 years. You know what I'm saying? After 13 years and not paying it, you should have something. Something. But
then let me ask you this: why you didn't pay it with court when they said this amount of due? If you had the money, she said a couple of times, ain't like she ain't got the money. All right, why you ain't pay it?
Correct.
So what's the situation?
She ain't had no information. What information she need?
You got the court notification, right? So sound like it looks like it, smells like it. Chances are, it's it. Let's go to the next one.
Okay.
Well, it's the 17th again. That's food stamp day for me. I placed my food delivery order last night, so it got here today at 11 o'clock. I got items for $492. I made a video like this last time. All y'all was worried about was if I had stairs and if I tipped. Second of all, I did not tip. That's what y'all want me to say. That's what I'm going to say. Like, use y'all common sense when y'all be saying stuff in the comments. I don't give a fuck about y'all paying the taxes on these food stamps for me to be able to get them. I don't give a damn. And y'all be like, as long as the kids eat, exactly. So I'm feeding these kids with them food stamps that y'all using to spring y'all taxes or whatever the fuck y'all want to call it. I said most of y'all was mad in my last post. That's exactly what the fuck y'all be. Y'all be mad as hell. Anyways, y'all, this is my first order. I gotta make another order, but I'm gonna make it within a couple weeks because my freezer is going to be full. One thing I need to invest in is a deep freezer because then I will have so much freaking room. I feel like if I was to have all that food up in here, I would just want to make food just because. If you know, you know. Y'all know when kids see shit, they all of a sudden want to eat everything. At least my kids be doing that shit. As soon as I brought the food in, here he go. Can he have some? I did start off with the fruits and vegetables, so y'all ass can't have shit to say. I don't think half of y'all watched both parts in the other video, or else y'all wouldn't have shit to say. And I hate when people bring lettuce like this. I'm gonna throw this shit in the trash because they definitely could have kept that shit. But this is everything that I mostly got, y'all. This is only the first order. Y'all know that I be having to get 2 to 3 orders at a time. But yes, I got my meat, I got my snacks, I got my drinks, I got all of that shit. Some of y'all ass need to stop saying kids don't need all of them snacks and shit. Who the fuck said it was for them? Let me know what y'all eating tonight, because today I don't even know what the fuck I want to eat. But I know I can eat a whole house. Anyways, you guys, see y'all in part 2 or see y'all in my next video. Love you. Let me go put up all this damn food.
Must be nice. Get $500. Must be nice to get that $500 for free, man.
I'm torn on that though. I'm torn on that video. I'm torn on that video. You know what I'm saying? Because the reason why I'm torn is because, you know what I'm saying, I'm trying to figure out how much of that video is just for entertainment and how much of that video is true.
Right.
Because she talks about, you know what I'm saying, she talks about the comments that people are making, you know what I'm saying, on the actual video. And I think she's been a little facetious, you know what I'm saying, with the comments. But I'm not 100% sure that's the case. You know what I'm saying? That's a tough one.
What do you mean?
That's a tough one.
To me, let me go in on this.
It's a tough one because I don't know if that's the way she truly feels, you know what I'm saying? Or is she just kind of antagonizing the people that have made comments about her having food stamps? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like the skits that they do on social media now. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of that stuff, the gold diggers, you know what I'm saying? And all this other stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like that stuff ain't necessarily real, but it's topic of conversation. So, you know what I'm saying? That's why I'm torn on the situation, because I don't know if this is necessarily just her doing a video for clicks, or, you know what I'm saying, if she actually feels that way.
But regardless of the fact, this is how I see it. She said she making a couple of orders, so she getting more than she getting $1,000, $1,500 in food stamps a month.
I don't know. She said first order, but I don't know.
Yeah, the first order $500, and she getting the DoorDash, too lazy to go to, to the stores and all that. She doing Instacart or something like that. Damn. That's so we paying for all that, so then it's like, where's the gratefulness? I'd look at it like this, even if she was being facetious because of comments, you can leave that to yourself. I know this generation has no shame, but you should be glad you're getting the free food. Shit, let me fill my refrigerator up. You grilling all that meat up, man. Shit, fresh fruit. Throw the lettuce away. That's ungrateful. I'm gonna throw this away because it's crushed. It's lettuce.
Right.
So they got to, where's the gratefulness, man? They got people that's starving in Africa and third world countries.
Oh, yeah, they definitely got that.
You mad because the lettuce was crushed a little bit that you got for free? You see, it just shows the entitlement. That's my take on it. It just shows the entitlement of this generation. And I think that with a game into the system too. To me, she brought all them groceries in. She got 2 arms, 2 legs, and she got enough sense to edit this video. Where's the job at? I guarantee she have a better attitude if she made that $12.50 an hour, and she worked for that $600. It took 2 weeks to make up that $600, and she got $500 worth of food and only got $100 left. I guarantee she'd be should be, not throwing lettuce away, not perfectly good lettuce away. If she had to work for that thing.
Yeah.
So my thing is that, like, hey, let's bring the work back. You throwing food away, you complaining, you putting on social media, you got an iPhone or Android, you got enough money for that. You got 2 legs, 2 arms. You're an able-bodied person. I think they need to stop rewarding bad decisions and rewarding bad behavior. And then people will shape up there. Either then we still feed, until then we still feed the beast. We still feed the beast.
How do you decipher that though? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way to filter that out, right? You know what I'm saying? Because
why get food stamps? Why have children if you can't afford them?
it happens.
Nah,
It happens all the time.
I think this is controversial. I know you want to share the same take, but if they start rewarding the behavior, I think they'll be less likely to do it if there wasn't no reward. Because think about it. You get rewarded for having children out of wedlock. You can get on Section 8. You can eat for free. You can live for free. If I have a child out of wedlock. What if you seen some child, it might be cold, but shit, you had a child, you get kicked out and you're on the street with that child. That'll scare you. There's an old tactic in the art of war. You kill one, you save 1,000 or scare 1,000. So if people see, hey, you had that kid, you might be on the goddamn street. I guarantee you them lasers get crossed. And some rubbers will start coming in and that rubber wouldn't come off as quickly as it does. I guarantee you, if there's real repercussions and stuff like that, I guarantee you it knock a lot of that out.
I don't know necessarily that's the case. Because here's the thing, you know what I'm saying? It's a slippery slope. When you come up with a set of rules, you know what I'm saying? Like when you have assistance, the way programs do, the government do, whatever case may be, you can't leave it up to one person to say, okay, yes, you interview this person, you can determine, you know what I'm saying, if this person is worthy of this assistance or not. You have to create a specific set of guidelines and guarantee people understand what those guidelines are, and they are catering their situation to be able to fit inside those guidelines. So I don't care how you actually change the guidelines. People are going to figure out a way to get within those guidelines to take advantage of these programs. And it's not realistic to say to completely get rid of these programs, because that's not going to happen, right? All you can do as a government is come up with a specific set of guidelines that you have to make it within, because anything else where you're picking this person, but this person has the same guidelines, this person is in the same situation, but you told them no. That is a discrimination. So, you know what I'm saying? It's a slippery slope. So, you know what I'm saying? I understand what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? Like it would curve a whole bunch of these situations. But is it realistic to set that expectation, to set that guideline for across the board, the whole program? No, it's not.
How is it not realistic when where was welfare in the 1800s? Where's welfare?
I don't know. I wasn't born back then.
Hold on. Where's welfare in a lot of these other countries, and Saudi Arabia, and a lot of these countries that are just as rich as the United States? They have no welfare. So don't tell me it can't work. They got countries that's doing it right now. Don't forget that this welfare stuff was only been around like 100 years. Less than 100 years. That's what FDR with the New Deal and all that stuff. That socialist stuff he profit, but it hadn't worked out. I think if you set the table, a lot of behavior gonna change. I get what they were trying to do, however, it just didn't work. It doesn't work. This is what you get. This is the end result. That's why Russia collapsed. Socialism don't work. It just doesn't work. And we go into Russia. And I'm glad, like I said, Trump is trying to, reverse some of this stuff. the cream rises to the top. Everybody can't be on the same playing field. That's what this country is built on. That's why the pyramid is on the dollar. In order to be at the top shining, you got to have somebody at the bottom. You got to have somebody that's going to make beds, clean up, stuff like that. Everybody can't be ballers. Everybody can't be the top 1%. It is what it is. That's how this country is built. The problem is we want participation trophies in life, and that's not how this works. You can't have a bunch of babies and expect to live like a middle-class person, probably sometimes better than a middle-class person that's working. That's wrong. I'm sorry.
Well, you're saying, hey, look, and you have every opinion and every right to feel the way you want to feel. But logically, when you're talking about a resolution towards that, you know what I'm saying? The U.S. is never going to follow another country in their rules. We're never going to follow Canada where you have free healthcare because we are structured different. So you can't sit here and say other countries have this and that and the third and these rules or whatever the case may be. USA has our own structure. We have our own thing. And at the end of the day, we have assistance programs to help those that are in need. Now, granted, there's some that are in need, that's truly in need, and take advantage of those, and it's actually able to help them. But there's some that actually abuse the actual program. They do. It's just the way it is. You know what I'm saying? It's just like there is a speed limit on the highway, but everybody don't follow that speed limit. Some people speed, some people do follow the speed limit. It's just the way it is, B.
I think that's a flawed. Think about the people that fought against slavery. Nah, that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. People that fought against Jim Crow. Nah, that's just the way it is, man. People that fought against, women not having, a woman couldn't have a checking account till 1974. That's just the way it is, man.
Yep.
So by that logic, nothing would ever change. Everything would stay the same because that's just the way it is.
No, it's not by that logic. By that logic, you can't come up with a resolution
just did.
Going to actually fit the U.S. structure. Period.
I just did. Cut it out.
You're not.
Give him the time limit.
Right. That's giving him. That's what he's imposing. But here's the difference. Anybody can come into office and create a bill and put that in front of everybody. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to actually get voted in. Trump can come up with something and put that in front of everybody else. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to get voted in.
I thought that was part of the big, beautiful bill.
You thought what was a part of the big, beautiful bill?
I thought ending the time limit on Section 8, that was part of the big, beautiful bill.
It is. But the question is, has that been voted in yet?
Yeah, that's been voted in. That passes. Check your news. It passed.
It passed the House?
Yes. Check it out.
It passed the Senate?
Yes.
So it's going to be signed in the play.
It's signed in the law. Check your news.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that's law now. That's why the video's popping up. Now everybody ain't got their facts straight because they don't read and stuff like that. But the big beautiful bill is passed.
Correct. But even though the big beautiful bill has passed, you know what I'm saying, I don't think it's going to resolve what you're talking about with, you know what I'm saying, people with kids, you know what I'm saying, being able to completely get rid of the assistance.
Right. Well, they got it on time limit now. So they can't do the 13 years. They not gonna be able to do generational. Grandma been on it since, 1960. I don't think that's right anyway.
Yeah, but I'm saying, here's the thing, you know what I'm saying? They'll pass that, and then, you know what I'm saying, the next presidential candidate will come in, you know what I'm saying, and then they'll change it back. So, like, what are we really accomplishing?
I don't know. They'll have to repeal it. And, that's a lot of stores that have to line up to try to roll those back.
That's what I'm saying. It's politics. You know what I'm saying? Anything can happen.
Right. But you sound like you wanted to stay the status quo.
No. I want it to be what it is essentially what it is. You know what I'm saying? So when we talk about these things, you know what I'm saying, you have to structure yourself and structure your life where you're not necessarily affected by that stuff. We're not on Section 8. So, you know what I'm saying, the fact that bill is coming into place doesn't necessarily affect us, right? You know what I'm saying? If it comes to 2 years, it doesn't necessarily affect us.
I tell you how it does affect them. The money that they saving from Doge and everything like that, he's gonna put back into the economy. So as far as tax savings and stuff like that, we all could save on taxes. So he's also proposing no property tax, and that would be huge. So a lot of stuff we saving with these programs and all that, and I want to go like it was in the 1800s where we didn't have all that. We was one of the richest countries ever.
I hear the fluff. You know what I'm saying? I'm not feeding into the fluff, right? So you know what I'm saying? Again, you're talking about getting rid of no property taxes. How do we survive in Texas without getting rid of property taxes? Because that's what the state is based on.
Because
It's
of
property tax, because we don't have any state tax.
Because of the surplus of other stuff that we're saving on. We
The
cutting out
surplus
the
of what?
pork. We're cutting out the pork.
What's the pork be?
All right. Again, I don't want to make this political. So let's start with these programs for the push the trans and gay agenda. What about the stuff right here in Texas about getting surgeries for prisoners, sex changes, programs for that. All of these stupid programs that they have that they spend money on, trying to make research to make frogs homosexual and all this stuff. You can look this up. This is all real stuff.
It's probably real stuff, but you know what I'm saying? When you're talking about cutting the budget for those, which sounds minuscule, when you talk about frogs, like, come on, how much of a budget is that? When you're talking about getting rid of that, you know what I'm saying? When you're talking about getting rid of that,
I'm talking
look, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, how is it going to supplement the fact of property taxes and the revenue that it brings into the state?
So if we cut all the pork out of these programs, voila, here's your money for infrastructure.
Okay.
Does Honduras have property tax? Does all these other countries have property tax? Why, when you go to Dubai, it looks like
Honduras is a bad example because Honduras is a poor country. You know what I'm saying? You can't necessarily equate the U.S. to Honduras or the Bahamas or you know what I'm saying? You can't equate it to that. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing. Here's the thing, you know what I'm saying? If that's what you want to believe in, B, you know what I'm saying? 100%, go for it. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing as people want to believe that Social Security is actually going to become null and void. Like, there's some things where people talk about for clickbait, and then there's reality. The reality of the situation is property taxes aren't going anywhere. And 10 years from now, we can have that conversation when you felt like that, and then you can tell me about how you never said that. We can have that conversation at that point. But as of right now, you feel like it's actually realistic that they're going to get rid of property taxes, and it's asinine.
Again, I would hope so. Again, I don't know. I can't guarantee that they're going to get rid of property tax. If that's what you're trying to insinuate, I can't say that. But
I'm just going with what you said, right?
No, I said he proposed to get rid of property tax, and we're exploring that hypothetical. Now you're trying to say that I'm definitely saying that he's getting rid of property tax. I'm not going for it. I'm not buying it. I'm sticking to what I said. I said he proposed that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Glad I got you on wax saying it.
Yeah. So rewind the tape. So like I said, make sure you get your fast cream because I know you like the twist and shout.
Twist and move the goalpost. I'm taking out the beat. You know what I'm saying? I'm moving the goalpost, baby.
Yeah, twist and shout. Just because you can't follow the goal don't mean I moved it.
Oh, yeah, that definitely means you moved it.
Yeah, so just because you can't follow it don't mean I moved it.
We started talking about Section 8, then we started talking about property taxes, B. Where the goalpost went.
Right. It wasn't the fact that I'm talking about property tax. I'm just talking about most stuff Trump proposed.
What you want about me being a single mother or a baby mama, if you will, and trust me, I have heard it all. I once had a girl in college tell me that we were not the same because I was pregnant and set to be a baby mom, and she was engaged and set to be a wife, and she had the ring to prove it, and there was a reason for that. And I think about that girl often. According to Facebook, I think she's like 3 kids deep now. I just want her to know if she's watching this, while your kids are in your house tearing it up and getting on your nerves, you're going to be doing laundry every 5 minutes and the dishes the other 10, and that man is sitting on your Ashley furniture couch putting a dent in it and sucking up all your O2. My kiddo's going to be in Florida living her best life all summer, and I'm going to be here in my house on an acre that's clean and quiet for for 4 whole months. And with all my extra disposable income, because I only have one kid, I'm going to be jet setting on a flight every other weekend, living my best life. And yeah, I'm not married yet, but I do have somebody that comes over and sluts me out whenever I want him to. He leaves with a pocket full of snacks. I leave happy, and we don't talk other than that, and I'm very okay with that. Nobody getting on my nerves and leaving socks next to the dirty hamper, even though it's right there. But, I hope your life is as charmed as mine. I hope that ring is real snug.
The fact that she goes over and she still follows this person on Facebook, even if it's true, because a lot of times people be creating made up villains in their minds in order to be able to justify the way that they do things, or they just cat for social media. But even if it is true, the fact that she is following this person on a regular basis in order to try to figure out and compare shows you that deep down inside, regardless of whatever it is that they selling you on social media, they not really happy with their situation. They do feel some type of way about it, and they put this information out on the internet as far as being a single mother, and then don't like the response to it, because the reality of it is that it is bad for the culture, it's bad for society, it's bad for the children. They are the ones that then suffer as a result of the decisions. And all I heard in this entire conversation was me, 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 which is usually the mindset of a person that is a single mother. Not all mothers, obviously. If it don't apply, let it fly. But all I heard was me, 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 me. The benefit of having a household is that it's a balance for the kids. If you choose to have children, which is usually a selfish decision to an extent, then you have to do everything that you can in order to put the kid in a position to be successful. And that includes raising them in a 2-parent married household that allows for them to have the balance between masculinity and femininity, not sending them off for the summer and then shipping them back like they expats back to your house in order for you to parent them long enough so they can grow up and then eventually get out your house so you'll have time to get your guts beat in.
You can say what you want about me being a single mother or a baby mama, if you will, and trust me, I
had to throw some Anton Daniels in there. I know you don't like him. You know what I'm saying? So I had to throw some Anton in there. That's my boy.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yeah, that's my boy. I like old Anton. Is one of the cats. I like that boy Myron. I like Tommy. I like a few cats out there. I like Corey Holcomb, of course. I like that cat Captain Zoriak too. I don't believe his religious beliefs, but I like what he. I got a couple of cats I like. Tate. I got a few cats I like.
Mm-hmm.
So it is coming alive. But I see you ain't rushing the comments, so I'll go ahead and comment on that. It's just a continuation of the selfish, the me culture, the millennials, I like to call them. That it's all about them, the communal spirit, should say, or the attitude long gone. We did have that, at least in Jim Crow. We had that communal sense. It was, for the betterment of the community, not just yourself. Now I think this too, on the front end, I like to talk about this as well. We do make up a lot of villains in our mind. Everybody's, have these these bad guys in their mind that told them something. And it's a lot of times that don't be the case. I get that a lot too, where I got to be the bad guy, because I'm on a different frequency than you. I got to be a bad guy, everybody got these made up villains, and that person might not even be worried about you. They just living their life. They just have a difference of opinion. Let that person be. But you got to base your life to try to get some get back, or, like this person right here, following on social media, to compare and contrast their lives and stuff like that, to try to reach for the differences to make it seem like your life is so great. But that's part A. Part B is, we talked about this before, as far as I think in order to build a community, you got to have some planning. Why is she? I think down talking or belittling the person's situation when she's married with kids. That's how we've always done it. I don't get it. I got to scratch my head on that one. So, that's the whole thing is sacrifice for the family, and is the best thing for the kids, like Anton alluded to. And when you get in that situation, it's not about you anymore. It's about the family is greater than anything. So it ain't about you living your best life no more. It's about setting the kid up for the best opportunity and the best chance to make it. So I think this is flawed. Like, the mentality is flawed. But I'll go ahead and yield it over while I look for this next clip.
All right. So I take a different perspective from that, you know what I'm saying? Because I completely disagree with what he was saying. I think a lot of people are detached from reality when it doesn't apply to them. I think, you know what I'm saying, if there was a person that made a comment about his video, a person that made a comment about what he said, he wouldn't be so easy to dismiss that. He would be the first person to probably stand up, you know what I'm saying, and say, okay, well, let me go back at this guy. It's the same exact thing for majority of people, you know what I'm saying? When somebody say that you can't do something, you're going to be something. I think a lot of greatness have come from that because you're trying to prove them wrong. You're wanting to prove them wrong. A lot of great things have been invented. A lot of great companies have started because of that, because of somebody said, man, you're going to fall flat on your face. I think it's the competitive nature within that individual. And I think for the fact of she has taken that to heart to be able to be a little bit more competitive, I think actually has made it better for their child. Just because somebody has lit that fire inside of her to make sure that, you know what I'm saying, what you're saying is not correct. So I think, you know what I'm saying, when he makes those comments, he makes those comments because he's detached. He's watching the video and he's completely detached from it. But put in those same shoes, put in that same situation, 100% of the case, he's going to act different. He's going to say things different. And this is going to be a different video. So this is too common when it comes to people, you know what I'm saying, where they're not attached to the situation. And you can pick any situation, you know what I'm saying? Somebody has a family member that passed away, unfortunately passed away in a car crash or whatever the case may be. Somebody that's detached from the situation that hasn't had it happen to them is going to have a specific opinion until it hits close to home. When it hits close to home, completely different opinion. And I think the same way in this situation. I actually applaud the lady. He's trying to down talk her. He's saying me, 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 me. But at the end of the day, I applaud her for not laying down. Because when somebody tell you that you can't do something, somebody tell you that you're not going to be something, it takes a different person to actually stand up and say, fuck you. You're wrong. I'm going to be that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to make that happen. And not just lay down and cry in a corner and then become depressed. Eventually something worse happens or whatever the case may be. So I look at that situation, that video, 100% completely different. And if he was in that situation, I guarantee he would look at that different too.
Boy, hey, guys, I promise I'm not paying this dude to say these things. I promise you. I think a lot of people think like this is like fake or like a skit. You know what I'm saying? I promise you, we didn't rehearse this. This is not. I'm not paying him to say crazy shit like this. I promise you. Yeah, so I promise this is his own thing. I promise you, I'm not paying. I swear, I've never paid you any money, right?
Look, this is the first time we've seen this video. The first time we reacted. Well, first time I've seen this video react.
I've never paid you to say this, right?
That's correct.
Okay, all right. I promise you, people think. I promise you, people think this is it. Be you be saying so much outrageous shit that I'm paying you to say this for clicks.
No, not at all.
I promise you, I'm not. I promise you, this is his own words.
100%, and I stand on it.
My God. Oh my God. I ain't even gonna comment. I was gonna waste my breath, but now let's go ahead and go to the next one.
Yeah, ain't even no point because you be wrong.
Yeah, I ain't even. I'm gonna just go to the next one. I ain't.
Biggest thing that I think hurts the black community is the lack of family structure. These devils know that if the family structure is strong, the economic success in the community is stronger. When you have mama and daddy in the house, young men and young women grow up understanding what it's like to be loved. They understand what it's like to marry somebody else. Because if you grew up in a broken home, not saying it happens for everybody, God can deliver you, I don't care where you were born. But a lot of times people have unnecessary scars going into relationships because they don't know how to love nobody. They didn't have no daddy. How does a young woman know how to get a man, treat a man, if she ain't never seen a man treated that way? How does a young man know how to be loved when his daddy didn't love him? I'm telling you, I think the biggest problem with young men is that the dad doesn't show them love because he ain't there. That's how they go off and they don't know what their sexuality is. They don't know how to treat women because all they needed was another man that looked like them, that they came from, say, I love you, I believe in you. When my dad called and tell me he proud of me, there's nobody else that can say that can have the effect that my father had. And I do it to my son every day. I say, boy, I'm proud of you. I love you. I hug my son, give him a big old bear hug. I don't care who watching. You still my baby boy. I'm gonna hug you and show you love from a man. So when you go out into the world, you're confident. They know we need this, but yet they don't.
Now watch, folks. Audience, watch and observe. He gonna actually like this video, and when it directly contradicts the last video. Go ahead.
Oh, is my reaction first?
Go ahead. I just give him the disclaimer. Watch this.
Yeah, please watch it. Please watch it. So part of what he's saying is true. You know what I'm saying? I do think when you're raising boys, you know what I'm saying, you need a father figure. You need some kind of male figure. But for a lot of kids, you know what I'm saying, that's not necessarily the situation. So, you know what I'm saying, to say that you just need a father figure, you know what I'm saying, and you're not going to be anything without a father figure, I don't necessarily agree with that, because there's a lot of uncles, there's a lot of friends that have stepped up to be father figures in these kids' lives. And it's not to minimize the role that they have or what they've done. I think, you know what I'm saying, kids get to a point where, you know what I'm saying, they want the acceptance, they want the security, they want the acceptance, and they want the reassurance from their father. But then I think kids get to a point where, you know what I'm saying, it becomes a mad stage where it's just like, I don't give a damn what he says. I don't give a damn what he feels. I don't give a damn anything about it. Uncle Charlie, you know what I'm saying, is more of a father than me than that. I care about what Uncle Charlie says. I care about, you know what I'm saying, whether Uncle Charlie is blood or not. You know what I'm saying? That's the person that's been with me as I grow. That's the person that stopped me from doing dumb shit. That's the person that's actually gave me guidance. At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to that point, that uncle is more important than the father. So even though, you know what I'm saying, I don't think, you know what I'm saying, I think a father should be in a child's life. I think, or a young man's life. I definitely think, you know what I'm saying, having a father figure is more important, regardless if that's the father, if that's an uncle, if that's a friend, if that's somebody there to help guide them, and they're there every step of the way. I think that's the most important thing.
I miss my Uncle Charles, y'all. Man, y'all listen to this foolishness. Mm-hmm. This is crazy. I promise I'm not paying this dude, man. I promise. So let's get this. Nah, I ain't even gonna ask you because you're gonna come with more foolishness. So according to what I'm digesting is, let's go a supplemental father instead of the real father.
Yep.
That could work. Uncle saying that, what if
but
I don't have?
Let me ask you that. Is that better than nothing? Is that better than a single mom by herself?
If you have a father, why not?
But it's a yes or no. You know what I'm saying? Is it better than having a single mom and no father and no male figure at all? That's what I'm asking.
Is that sustainable? Is that a sustainable business plan or a plan?
I've seen it. I've seen it.
Of course, it exists. But why not start from the root with family planning and marry before you carry? some of the traditional fundamental stuff that we built nations upon for thousands upon years. Instead of, all right, now let's go ahead, go ahead and do what you want to do. And hope you get an uncle. You know what I'm saying? So this is sounds a foolery to me, but yeah, it can happen. But is that the situation? Most likely, if the dad don't give a damn, the mom, the brother ain't gonna give a damn. You know what I'm saying? So choose wisely. Pick better mates. Pick somebody
Who
that's
brother are we talking about? Who brother are we talking about? We talking about the dad's brother? We talking about the mom brother?
either one. It's not his responsibility. To be honest, his responsibility is that of an uncle. So you want them to step above and beyond. Some people do that, but however, that's not their responsibility. They might have their own kids. So why not keep it simple? Instead of trying to expand roles and put up band-aids, why not just do it right the first time?
I mean, you say that about a lot of stuff, but anyway, I'll let you make your point.
Yeah, it sounds crazy to me. So, again, I know, and the reason probably the only reason you abridged that because I did that disclaimer. Other than that, you probably would have wholeheartedly agreed with him.
No, I definitely would agree with him, regardless of what you said.
And second of all, he didn't say. So you saying that only boys need fathers, girls don't need fathers either? So how about this kids need fathers? So you directly discount the role of father, you being a father yourself, the discount of validity or the importance of fatherhood? Is that what you're saying?
Definitely not.
So fathers are not important? And
fathers
both
are important.
And female and male, boys and
female
girls?
and male, boys and girls.
That's what he's saying. He's saying that both need a father. Not just one, not just males, girls too, because she needs to see that love. Like he said, she needs to know how a woman needs to be treated. So how can she could have expectations on how she should be treated. Also, that's the basics. That's what this was built upon. You're trying to overcome nature with the foolery. It's the same thing as, and I know you're gonna say this moving. It's an analogy. I'm not moving the goalposts. It's an analogy.
Right.
It's the same thing. Like they can't define a woman. Same thing. Now you trying to supplement the family and go with uncles and cousins, your cousin now. And why not just do it right? Why not just find a mate that you want to live with forever, and then you reproduce that man that you want to be with forever instead of having a baby, and then because he's cute. Why not plan a family? Why not if you having sex for just pleasure? Why not be responsible and use protection? It's simple. If you're gonna do it, why not do it right? It's simple. But nah, you can't make them be responsible. Why should I do that? It's always gonna be like that. So let's just let go and let it be like that, right? That's what you're saying. That's what you're saying. I disagree. Let's go to the next one.
Well, damn, I can't rebuttal to that. I can't. You say
that's
it.
You already respond.
That's it. I can't rebuttal that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, I let you talk. You know what I'm saying? Like I try not to interrupt you. You know what I'm saying? I can't go back. Hey, look, I can't redirect. You know what I'm saying? I can't redirect. So yeah, here we go.
Like, man, come on.
Here we go. Hey, look, y'all want me to redirect?
How much do you think my 2022 new construction Lennar home is worth in 2025? Based upon the appraised value by the appraisal district. If you guess, it depreciated from $300,000 to $117,000, you'd be correct. That's due to construction defects, mold and moisture issues. Literally, the only thing that's worth anything is my land, the foundation, and the roof. How amazing.
Same thing. It's just the way it is, man.
Just the way it is, bro.
Just the way it is. No changes. They ain't got to change how the big
See,
snake
and B Dick's world, you know what I'm saying? We got rainbows you know, sunshines, you know what I'm saying, daisies, you know what I'm saying? Everything is a perfect world in B Dick's world, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, nothing is actually perfect. That's the problem. We live in an imperfect world. But it's not acceptance and there's no leeway to be imperfect. Everything has to be perfect. And if it ain't perfect, you know what I'm saying, oh my God, the world is falling down. That's the problem. At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, the same situation that she's had has happened many a times before, right? But oh my God, you know what I'm saying? Don't buy new construction because oh God, you know what I'm saying? You know, it depreciates and da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody, you want to be over dramatic about when something happens in regular everyday life. B, I got a news flash for you. You know what I'm saying? Shit happens. You know what I'm saying? Nothing goes as planned. Nothing is perfect. And shit always happens. You know what I'm saying? So if you bringing up this video here to say, oh, well, nobody should buy new construction, I guarantee there's thousands and millions of people that's going to still continue to buy new construction. And again, it's just the way it is. You're not going to stop on one video. You're not going to stop people from buying new construction because shit happens. It's the same thing that could happen for an existing house. You know what I'm saying? Existing house can come up with some mold and all this other stuff, and it depreciates the value of it. It is, but it's not going to stop people from buying houses. So I'm not necessarily sure where this video fits in, but I'm pretty sure B Dick's got a way of, you know what I'm saying, oh, this is the end of the world of new construction. I don't understand why people are just stupid for buying new construction. Since we predicting what people are saying, you know what I'm saying, I'm pretty sure that's coming next. People are idiots for buying new construction. Don't buy new construction because this is what's going to happen. And this is one out of thousands of cases. But go ahead. I need the floor to you.
Yeah, this is not the point of the video. First of all, it was just random because it was in order, so I ain't had no place to put it. So it's not really piggybacking off the following video. I mean, the prior video. It is to say, it is showing that people don't properly plan and do their due diligence. That's the whole thing. Expect the best. I was always taught, you know, trust but verify. And the verification is where people fall off. They don't really verify. They look, just because it looks pretty doesn't mean it is pretty. You know, so do your due diligence before you get into anything. And the only relation I can say to the prior video is that a lot of people live life like that. They just go with the flow because it looks pretty, and they didn't verify, and that's why the relationships fall apart. Or you got into a situation. Yeah, of course, this is not going to stop anybody. However, in order to stop a speeding car, you have to first slow it down, then before you can reverse it. If you do nothing, you just then you're content with the results. And as long as I got breath in my body and speak against it, I'm going to lead by example and speak against things that I don't believe is right, and I believe that it can change. Now, if I could, in my time here, change a few minds, change a couple of minds, I did my piece. So that's why I speak out. So I'm gonna always champion things I believe in and going forward. So we have a clear difference of opinion, and I'm gonna champion my ideals. You know, it just is what it is. So, you know,
I know he ain't said that. I know he ain't said it is what it is. I know he ain't just say it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Lord, hey, look, where the confetti at? Bring the confetti down on this joint. You know what I'm saying? I know he ain't used my quote.
Right.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
It is what it is. You know that I don't think you invented that, because Brand Nubian had a whole album called "It Is What It Is" in 1992. One of my favorite albums. So
I didn't invent it, but you can't criticize it and then turn around and use it, B. That's all I'm saying.
Nah,
like,
what are we
doing? You know what I'm saying?
You got to be more precise. You didn't say it is what it is. You said
I didn't say it is what it is.
Nah, you
like,
said that's
okay.
the way it is. That's different.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, you said that's the way it is. You didn't say it is what it is. You know, so the way it is not. It is what it is. All right. Again, I'm more precise.
All right, I'll let you have that. Go ahead.
Yeah. You didn't say it is what it is tonight. You said that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. That's what you said. I almost said it. That's what you said. You didn't say it is what it is. You said that's just the way it is. That's what you said.
I ain't gonna even say rewind the tape, B. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna let you have it. You got it, bro. You got it, player.
Like I said, I almost
you got it.
One week I have seen in my city black men power washing parking lots, black men doing roofing work, black men doing lawn services around businesses in my city. Things are starting to look like the old days again.
Right on. Some are going to try to say, oh, well, blacks, we don't want to go back to the field. We don't want to go back to doing these jobs. Says who? Says who? Listen, some of these statistics are out of control. You're talking about 1 out of every 4 black people are on some kind of government assistance. 1 out of every 3 black men will go to prison in their lifetime. If I'm 18, 19, 20, I'm young, I'm broke, why wouldn't I want to go do a manual job and get some money? Even if I'm older, why wouldn't I want to do that if I can? Why wouldn't I want to be a pressure washer? Why wouldn't I want to work on houses? Why wouldn't I want to work on cars? Why wouldn't I want to do that? So the bad thing, the issue with the migrants is when they're allowed into the country, that just brings wages down. So when we want to go do that work, it becomes difficult because we cannot compete with these third world prices. Everything is brought down to their level. So we could live like them in their home country, but this ain't their home country. This is America. This is the USA. So yeah, get them out of the way. Americans of any color could come in and go set the market and do the work.
In 1 week.
Here we go. Here go this blue rhetoric. Oh no, let everybody in, man. You know, we get more of the same. That's just the way it is. You know, let's hear it.
I ain't got nothing to say to it. I've given my fair share to people to give them a shot for opportunity, a very fair opportunity. And in my personal experience, not every experience, in my personal experience, you know what I'm saying, I've been screwed over. So it's hard for me not to create a bias when I've been screwed over so many times trying to do right by the rhetoric. And I'll leave it like that.
Right. Well, what I take from it is that I think he made an awesome point. I think what happened is, like I said, most people come here to work and they were unchecked. They set the market for labor, and it was outrageously cheap. But don't forget the cost of living where they're from is a lot cheaper, and that pushed us out of a lot of jobs because we couldn't work for that much, and we couldn't. It wasn't a livable wage. So now you're seeing as they start to make these sweeps, a lot of us going, starting to do those jobs, which opens up a lot of, young people to go do those jobs, those hustle jobs that we used to get paid for. I used to have do lawns and stuff like that. I can't compete. I got pushed out, because again, you couldn't compete with, certain people, because again, what's, decent to them wasn't livable to us, because stuff we got, $3 bags of potato chips, so it's a little bit different. So, it's hard to do a lawn for, $4, entire lawn, weed and everything. So we couldn't compete. So I think this is a great equalizer. A lot of stuff, again, we're on our way to making it great again for us, so if we set the market, labor will go up, it will get passed on. However, you'll have more money in the economy because people making more money. So it all equals out. That's my 2 cents on it. Let me go ahead and set up this next one.
Mm-hmm.
Bam.
This is what you get.
How they taking money at Dunkin' Donuts, y'all? Like, come on, man. What is this?
It's crazy.
Straight bulletproof glass through the whole thing, man. I mean, you can't even breathe on these people. Look how sealed this is. This is a professional seal. Like, you can't even talk to these people barely.
A black person.
getting up every day and seeing something like this, bro, that do something to your mental up here. It tell you, like, this how you feed animals in a zoo, gang. Like, that's pretty much what it's telling your mentality. Like, I did say I don't trust you. You feel what I'm saying? At what point do we be like, we tired of getting treated like animals, tired of getting treated like this? Like, bro, like, you telling me I can't even hand you my money, gang?
Well, you know how you eliminate feeling like an animal? Stop being animalistic. And I'm not saying every person in the community is doing it, but you got to be real and say, we got to do better than this, man. Now, instead of taking accountability, you know, if you live in the hood, how many times this Dunkin' Donuts been robbed at gunpoint. You know,
Yes.
That's why they got that stuff there. But instead of you being mad at them thugs for robbing this place, you mad at the establishment for protecting their workers, whom are black. When I go to shop over here where I live, there ain't no locks on stuff. You go down south in South Phoenix, you can't get toothpaste without a lock on it. Why is that? Because they black? No. Because they Mexican? No. Because people thugging.
Shout out to Officer Tater, man. I've never really checked out the show. I just be seeing the shorts, man. So shoot, shout out to him. But shit, I agree with a lot of what he say. I have a twist on this one. For the guy, like, all right, don't go there. As simple as that. If you feel a certain way, don't give him your money. You boycott with your dollars. So nobody forcing you to go to Dunkin' Donuts. Don't go there. If you feel a certain way, it's simple as that. Nobody forced you to watch anything. Nobody forced you to spend no money. Don't support those businesses. As simple as that. So B, from an ownership standpoint, I think that's the investment. Spend that $10,000 on the bulletproof glass instead of, risking the employee getting shot and they suing your ass. I think that's a smart investment by him. So you can't blame a franchise owner for trying to protect his asset. I don't get it. But the victimhood runs deep. I mean, maybe you could break it down to the mentality that I don't feel him. I don't feel where he's coming from. But maybe you could break it down. Maybe you're going to feel him. Let's hear it.
Well, I think, when you have that victim mentality, you can't see the shoe on the other foot. From an owner standpoint, if I keep getting robbed over here, my employees keep getting held up at gunpoint. At that point, news gets out. I can't get any workers to come work for me because their life is at risk. The workers that I did have that had a gun pointed in their face, they now have to seek therapy, and their family has told them that they needed to quit that job. They no longer need to be there. So then now, as the owner of the actual business, I'm struggling now because I want to manage the business. I don't want to be in the business. I don't want to be at the cash register having to do this. I want to be managing the finances to make sure that we're in the green, we're not in the red. I don't want to be, in here stocking the shelves and all this other stuff. I want to hire people to do that, because if that's the case, I have another job. I don't have a business if that's the case. But the lack of people's intellectual intelligence, to understand the shoe on the other foot, feels like, this is a slight against them, but they're not understanding from a business owner standpoint. In order for me to get some people in here to actually work, they need to feel safe. They need to feel like, I'm not going to have a gun pointed in my face. So then that's where you do things like that because of the area that you're in. It's the reason why, it's not enough to have glass doors to close in front of your business. Now they have the metal shutters that go down in front of those doors to protect people from breaking the glass and going in there and stealing all their stuff. So I think, if you look at the shoe on the other foot and you have the intelligence to look at the shoe on the other foot, you start to understand why it's like that. It's not a slight against you. It's not a personal attack against you. It's just more so protecting the investment and the business that the business owner has. So I think, you know what I'm saying, anytime people can kind of get themselves out of themselves to see the shoe on the other foot, I think they'll start to understand a little bit more. And regardless if they understand or not, the business owner understands, which is why he got it like that. And it has to be like that. If not, you're closing the doors, you're out of thousands of dollars, you're in debt, and so on and so forth. And nobody cares about that. Nobody's going to come over and be like, oh, well, you didn't have no bulletproof glass. You try to do what's best for the community. We're going to give you $1,000. We're going to give you $10,000 to help you out. Nobody's doing that. So he has to protect his investment.
Gotcha. All right, let's go to this next one because I still got like about 3-4 more.
Yep.
It's no longer an affordable place to live. Okay, for everybody that's like, the cost of living, no longer, right? We just got our lease renewal. It went up $200 to $2,650 for a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom. $2,650 base rent, 1 bed, 1 bath. Great. And I know I'm going to ask for a recommendation right now, but before you even answer, don't send me to Prosper, Frisco, Plano, even Addison. I'm not living in the fucking suburbs. Okay, I'm not living out there. And I understand that living in Dallas, okay, there's a price to pay. I'm okay with that, but we're getting a little crazy with $3,000 for a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom. Anywho, if you guys have any recommendations, please let me know. We will be touring this weekend because I am not renewing that. There is no way you will catch me paying $2,650 for a 1-bed, 1-bath. I'm happy to go up a little bit, but at the very least, let's get 2 bedrooms. You know what I'm saying? Dallas, Texas, great economy, right? Lots of jobs, lots of companies moving here. I get it. But that cost of living, people are always like, oh, but Dallas cost of living. Nope, not anymore. Dallas, Texas is.
You want to take a stab at it first, or you want me to go first?
I mean, mine's gonna be real quick. It's delusional. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like people feel a certain kind of way until they understand that the grass ain't green on the other side. The truth of the matter is, in Texas, we have the highest property taxes in the country. That's facts. And when the property taxes are going up and the insurance is going up because of all the hurricanes and they have to pay out so much or whatever the case may be, just the cost of actually owning a house or owning an apartment complex or owning a condo, whatever it is that you own, is going up. And it's completely crazy for people to think that, you know what I'm saying, the cost of living as far as rent is not going to go up, because what investor, what landlord is actually going to have an investment and actually have to dish out thousands and thousands of dollars just for people to live there? It just doesn't make sense. So guarantee she made this video. She's upset, whatever the case may be. I get it. But once she understands and sees, once they go on the tour and understand, you know what I'm saying, what's actually out there, and in order to get the price point that she wants, where she has to be and what she has to deal with, she'll probably renew. But I feel like everybody feels that way. Everybody has this emotional reaction when people talk about, you know what I'm saying, rent increasing or how high rent is or whatever the case may be, until they start to understand what the market is calling for. Once they go out there and find out what the market is calling for, they'll calm down and they'll understand that they're in a great position.
I just think victimhood doesn't have any is not, you know, exclusive to any color or creed or any community. Victimhood is all over the place. I'm showing different arrays of the victimhood. I think, again, so let me get this straight. You're entitled to not have a rent increase. Why so? Why are you entitled to not have a rent increase? You know, why? Just because you're you? Everything else is going up. Why are you crying bloody murder when you know that's how it goes? That's one of the downfalls of renting, that when that lease expires, that landlord has the right to set the rent. If you wanted a constant variable, you know, which even is not that constant because your taxes and insurance could go up, is why not own a home? You know, you chose the apartment complex. You put the money down. and you're crying about the increase. It doesn't make sense to me. Grind harder. Nobody cares. Grind harder. Find something else. Do what you got to do. But coming on the internet and griping about it, it just shows that people cry about anything, the victimhood. Oh, Dallas has gotten so expensive. Nah, I'm pretty sure they got cheaper 1 bedroom, 1 bath. You wanted the nice one. We talked about this on the first video. You chose to live at the upper top, the top, tippy top of your budget. You did that. Not them.
Correct.
So the video, if it was in a just world, in a hey man, shoot, I chose to swim in the deep end and it got a little bit too deep for me. Let me go ahead and roll this thing back. Be honest. The landlord, the city, they ain't got nothing to do with your choices. Sorry. You know, so I know it sounds good. I know it sounds good to gripe and feel good to comment. Oh, so poor baby, and trauma bonding and all that stuff. Della, my rent was hot. It's still your fault. It's still your fault, fam. What's next? Let's hit this next.
Let me tell y'all why we moved out of Florida, why we dislike HOAs, and why living in an HOA while Black is very dangerous. Meet this sister right here in Tampa, Florida. She was arrested and thrown in jail, shackled for 7 days without bond because of some brown grass. So the HOA started sending her letters about her brown grass, which she has noted that they were on a water restriction. Plus, there's a huge tree in her yard that's blocking the sun where the brown grass is. And on top of that, she took pictures of all the other neighbors' yards who also had brown grass. So they started harassing her about the brown grass, and she had a few dents in her garage door. This led to her going to court. She tried to represent herself in court. The judge said she needed to, make the repairs to the garage door and do something about the grass, which she said, okay, I will. She started working on it. She was making the improvements. And then all of a sudden, she gets pulled over by the cops. And they said there's a warrant out for your arrest for not appearing. She said she had been calling the courts, had no idea she was supposed to have appeared again. She gets in jail, finds out that she can't be bonded out, y'all. She can't be bonded out. She has to stay because there is no bond. And then the lawyer for the HOA was fighting for her to stay. They were fighting for her to stay in jail. This is a mother over some grass. So then when she ended up going to court, she showed pictures of where the grass had been approved, and the lawyer on the other side said, nah, it still looks brown, blah, blah, blah. The judge was like, nah, it looks fine to me. Then she was let out. But y'all, this is why we left Florida. We purchased 46 acres of land. HOAs, on top of being Black, is very dangerous. Check out my How to Buy Land guide linked in my bio.
Okay. Stop it. I almost had to cut this whole mid thing. You know what I'm saying? Stop it, 5. Stop it. Oh my God! I know you're gonna agree with that, but I'm gonna go ahead and say my 2 pieces because I'm gonna find a way to tune you out. You know what I'm saying? While you talking, You know what I'm saying?
All right.
But man, listen, we always quick to play the race card, the victim card. You know, it's Tampa, it's Florida fault, it's this one fault, it's that one fault, it's everybody fault. You know, what happened and I didn't know, and this that same thing with the person that was getting put out in the earlier clip. You know, ignorance of the rules and the laws doesn't omit you from them. It is your responsibility. So before you buy a house or before you get in a house, read the bylaws of the HOA, educate yourself on what you're getting into. That's A. B, okay, if they sent you notification, take care of it. You could get one of those people that paint the grass green. They paint it, you know, less than $100. They'll paint your whole lawn green. You know, if you got some scorched grass. Then dents, they got the dent doctor, $69, dude. Fix all them dents in your garage door. So you probably got out that thing for less than like $200. It's all that, you'd have been done with it. That's your responsibility. You chose that HOA, you chose that neighborhood. It would have been nipped in the bud. So the real truth is they didn't go for the brown grass. You went for not appearing in court. It's your responsibility to know the day that you were summoned to court. That is your responsibility. You know, and it had to be a while before they put a warrant out for your arrest. It had to be lapsed for a while. You didn't show up, you didn't take care of it. You knew, but you're gonna play like you didn't. Okay, cool. But it's still ultimately your fault. And so now I'm moving out of Florida. I applaud you for buying some land, but state of Florida had nothing to do with that, man. Tampa had nothing to do with that, man. And what does Black have to do with it? You know, so again, we throw everything in the race thing, and a lot of times it's your fault. Oh, it's the system. Nah, well, the system probably was the same for everybody. You know, you didn't go for brown grass. Other people probably handled their business. You're probably the only one that didn't. So, again, miss me with it.
Yeah, there ain't much I can say about that one. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of anytime videos like that come up, you know what I'm saying, there's a lot of details that I believe are left out. A lot of parts of the situation that are left out because when you're in sales, you leave out certain aspects because, you know what I'm saying, you know, it doesn't look good for you trying to sell something. She's trying to sell a course. So at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, motivation is the biggest thing that I'm looking at. She's trying to sell a course, so you know what I'm saying, I can't necessarily go off of everything that she said. Even though, you know what I'm saying, a lot of it may be true, but I believe there's a lot of parts of it, you know what I'm saying, that have been left out. So I just leave it the way it is.
Right. Let's go ahead to this next one, man. I got like a couple more.
Yeah, let's do it.
Take my email and it said my rent going up an extra $300. Why the rent going up? Y'all ain't even brought an air freshener in here. Can you bring me an air freshener and then charge me a little more? I can't do an extra $300. Y'all ain't did nothing extra. Well, I gotta do something extra. If you can come in here sweep a mop or something, I might think about it. I'm sitting here paying you more money for the same ass floor. This is the same for carpet turning dirty. Can you come clean the carpet? If y'all come clean the carpet, I'll think about renewing. I've been putting the work order for this same stove for 3 months, and you telling me you want some more money? Shit. Y'all finna start including another service or something that come with a maid or a butler. Can you bring me a can of Febreze, a spray of Febreze or something? And then I think about it. Damn, y'all ain't did nothing. The grass high, y'all ain't got nobody cutting the grass no more. What am I giving y'all extra money for? Is the water finna be included? Y'all gonna start including utilities and lights and shit? What you gonna do for the extra money that y'all putting on this rent? What y'all gonna do for it? Come power spray wash this damn house. How about that? Come power spray it. Spray it down and wash it. Y'all don't even know the property's still damn here. I did a whole new weather strip at the bottom of my door. That shit hanging down there. Can you break a weather strip? Can you come over here and paint the wall? You wanna come paint? Can y'all do that? You want extra money? You got to do some extra work. I ain't finna renew a damn thing. You know what? You take your renewal letter and eat it. I ain't renewing nothing. Yeah, I check.
Gotcha, man. A little comedy situation. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna go ahead and run the next one. Again, I ain't listened to a lot of them. I'm waiting on my food. Hold on, let's see. Let's go to this next one.
That's funny. If you don't want to deal with that, you know what I'm saying, then go ahead and buy you a house. Then you'll understand how
I'm
expenses
back with another
increase.
video. What you mean? You don't want a man with a 9 to 5? He got to be an entrepreneur. He got to make 6 figures or more. Well, guess what? 16% of Americans are only making 100K to 146K a year. 16%. Wow. So I guess the other 86% of the women, we just gonna be single, fighting over that one. That's them 16% of men. We fighting over y'all. I guess they fighting over y'all. I mean, I'm looking for somebody that's got a 9 to 5, that can maintain the household and still live comfortably. That's all I want. That's it. The hell out of here. He can. What's popping, y'all? It's your girl Philly, and I'm back with another video.
I mean, Kevin Samuels been saying this 7 years ago, you know, whether he brought that statistic out, you know, that, you know, everybody fighting for the same, you know, man, you know, the 100-figure, you know, the 100,000 benchmark is outrageous when we just starting to get money. I get it. You know, a lot of people have money off the books. However, that's not sustainable, you know. You know, it is what it is on that one. I don't know if you want to react or not. I thought it was longer than what it was. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was...
Yeah, look, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Ain't got nothing to say on that one.
Let's see what this one about. Again, a lot of them I was in a crowded restaurant. You know, so I ain't have it live.
So in Atlanta, the average net worth of Black people is $5,000 in Atlanta. In New Orleans, it's $14,000. In Charlotte, it's $48,000. But in each of those cities, the average net worth of the white counterpart is like, to your point, 10x, 12x. I was actually surprised that, you know, New Orleans, but it's per capita, so there's more people in Atlanta, so it's more people to go by. Right. But generally speaking, you talked about like what you saw in Atlanta, but it made me think about Charlotte, because Charlotte was almost, I mean, literally almost like 9-10 times that of Black people in Atlanta. So I was like, dang, we don't talk about Charlotte Black people enough, because clearly they got something, they're doing something right as it relates to growing Black wealth in Charlotte. But how many times do you hear people talk about people in Charlotte?
You don't hear anything. And you know what? Let me light my candle real quick, because I like candles. And just to put it out there, when it comes to Charlotte versus Atlanta, now, this is not a competition, right? But summing up or balancing the financial scale, here's what I got to say. When I first moved here to Charlotte back in 2018, one of the first things that I noticed was that people in Charlotte, they don't show their money. In Atlanta, they show their money all over the place. In Charlotte, it's not about what you have. It's about what you own. In Atlanta, we've seen many people, you know, broadcast themselves as being this popular, you know, rich person, and, you know, they want to be seen. And you know what? One of the things that I read on a video, I think it was this video, maybe not, somebody said the popular influencers in Charlotte, you don't see them that often. But in Atlanta, they want to be seen. Cheers to Charlotte. Now, for more videos, check out the videos in my gallery. And also, join me here on this page, Sean in Charlotte, and give me a shout.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying? You know, Atlanta's the new Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? It's the new Black Hollywood. So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? How does Hollywood act? Everybody got to show off what they have, you know what I'm saying? What they bought new, or whatever the case may be. Atlanta's going to be no different. Charlotte's not really on the map like that. So, you know what I'm saying? Of course, the mindset is going to be a little bit different in Charlotte.
Right. I mean, I think that a lot of people sleep on Charlotte. What is it, Maryland and Virginia? They got a lot of affluent people out there, and that's one of the richest. I think Maryland is one of the richest black communities in the United States, besides like Baldwin Hills. You know, I think it's in Maryland. Like it's like the average house out there like 600,000. So Maryland, we got a lot of wealthy people out there. You know, I think a lot of people move from New York, you know, and move down south, and a lot of, you know, move from New York to Charlotte and Virginia and stuff like that. Also, don't forget a lot of Turtle Islands in Virginia. So a lot of the natives, you know, a lot of people think we're all from Africa. We're not. You know, a lot of people, natives had land out there, and they took that land and just, you know, kept going with it, and, you know, farmland and stuff like that. So a lot of rich people moved to, you know, Virginia is kind of like a suburb of DMV. So, you know, a lot of people moved to like Maryland from Virginia and stuff. So, you know, they already, people had land, you know, stuff like that. So that's part of the, you know, the issue as well. I mean, I think that's why they got a lot of more. A lot of people, I think they in Atlanta got a lot of migrants. So a lot of people come to Atlanta to show up, you know, because for the club life and the street life and the, you know, the flash. So it's a different ballgame. They think of Charlotte like more of a retirement community or suburb, or, you know what I'm saying, some, you know, family town. So this, you know, that's why it's probably not on the map. I've been to High Point, I've been to Charlotte and stuff like that. It's cool. I mean, it's laid back. It's you know, it's different. Got a lot of country, still got a little country feel to it. You know, so Charlotte not bad. Just I couldn't do the winters.
I'd imagine it get cold as hell out there during the winters.
Yeah, it's, you know, you might
Kind of like Michigan.
Yeah. I mean, the cost of living not that bad. I mean, Charlotte's a good spot. I just wouldn't live there. You know?
Yeah.
You know, so let's go ahead. I got like one or two more. Let's scroll through. I don't even know what this is about. I seen your boy, so I like his video. I don't even know what this is about.
Shit's getting weird. Part infinity.
Now, earlier today, I spoke to a woman who was camping with her family just 1 mile away from the deadly Guadalupe River floods when they found themselves in the path of disaster. Lucretia Bates said she noticed the river rising and decided to evacuate despite no alerts or warnings.
There were other people still trying to go tubing down the river that morning as we were packing up, and it was pouring.
Even though the river had risen that much and people were being told, you know what, it might be time to go, there were others that were getting in tubes to ride the river down.
Yes. And I just couldn't believe it. My husband told the office, like, hey, we're checking out. We were supposed to stay an extra night. He said, we're gonna go. And so she said, okay, you know, we're thinking about evacuating. You know, I was just kind of like, wow.
I couldn't help but make this video. But to all the whites that wonder out there, use this video for future reference, okay? Anytime you see a nigga moving, running, getting out of there, their nigga senses are tingling. Nigga. Get out of there. You get out of there too, okay? Because some of y'all don't got self-preservation. Some of y'all, you know, I almost can guarantee you the people that were trying to go tubing, nigga was right. I can almost guarantee it. Because I don't know on the face of the earth any nigga that sees water rising and is like, you know what, I'm going to go towards it. I don't think so. I really don't think so. Okay, so use this video for future reference. It should go something like this. Honey Bear, I know we're in sport mode right now, but those clouds don't look good. Look. Lucretia's leaving. Well, I read somewhere that when the N-words leave, we should leave too. Yeah, we should take our wigs out of sport mode and leave with them. Lucretia, do you have any space in your van? Get out of there. Okay? That's all. Stay safe.
The comments were more hilarious part is like, you know, the comments was hilarious about it. It said, when I move, you move, that Ludacris song, you know.
Just like that.
Just like that. Move up. You know, we used to do that on Bourbon Street. Just start running. See how many people. See how we could start a crowd
Stampede.
Stampede. You know, I think that's it. If I'm not mistaken, I thought I had one more. I think I played them all, man. Hold on. I think I do have one. Yeah, this Mike Taylor one is the last one.
All right.
Let's run this last one. This is the last one for the night, man. So I probably got to do like you do. I got to hit this bathroom. So, shit, I'm about to be out of here. After 12.
Somebody comes to me and says, I want to sell my house for $1 million. I know that house isn't selling for more than 900,000. Most agents are going to say, yeah, let's sell it for $1 million. We'll do a couple price reductions. It's going to end up trading closer to the 900,000 that I know it's going to sell for. This way, I get the house, I get the fee once we sell, everybody's stoked. But that's not what's happening. There's a massive amount of delisting happening. So sellers aren't desperate. They seem to be in denial. So more homes were pulled off the market in May than were listed. That's not a cooling off, that's a freezing up. Delistings rose 47%. More homes were delisted in May. Top metros affected: Phoenix, Houston, and Miami. Many sellers don't need to sell. They want to sell. And that creates a different environment. When you're forced to sell, you got to usually take a haircut. Like if somebody's not willing to give you what you want, but you have to sell, that's typically when you land into losses. That's not what we're seeing right now. I think it's the dynamic between real estate agents and sellers. Sellers are typically out of touch with where the market's at. And you can make the argument that it's agents' job to get them to reality, but they actually have a very difficult time doing that because a listing agent has the incentive to get the house as their listing. If they push back too hard in the beginning, they fear losing the house. So they play this game of like, okay, what the seller thinks they can get, they can't get. But if I tell them that, will they go somewhere else? It creates a moment like this. Somebody comes to me and says, I want to sell my house for $1 million. I know that house isn't selling for.
All right. What are you thinking?
It's 100% accurate. I think the biggest thing is that, you know what I'm saying, a lot of sellers are, as he says, out of touch with the market. When people think about selling their houses, they think about the certain things, the small things that they've actually done to the house. But you have to understand the emotional attachment to this actual house because it's sentimental to them. Maybe their kids grew up there. They've been there for years, whatever the case may be. They paid for it at a certain period of time or a certain year. They expect a certain amount of dollar. The neighbors have lied to them about what they sold their property for and what properties are worth for, you know what I'm saying, in the neighborhood. It could be many different factors, but for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying, a lot of sellers are out of touch with the market that we're currently in. In the market that we're currently in, we're definitely in a buyer's market. In a buyer's market, you know what I'm saying, essentially buyers are getting the best deals now. This is completely different from COVID. COVID, it was a seller's market, you know what I'm saying? I don't care what you do. You put your house on the market, got a hole in the wall, whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying? You were able to sell it at that time. It's not the same market that we have now. And I don't think necessarily, you know what I'm saying, if sellers are not in the industry, they don't necessarily understand that. The only thing they know is, hey, look, man, you know what I'm saying? I got a lot of memories here. This is the price that I want to get for this house. This is the price that I think I ought to get. And it doesn't necessarily help if you as an agent go in there and you tell them their property is worth 900,000. The next newbie agent that comes in there and says, hey, you want $1 million for your house? Yeah, I think we can get that. You want 1.2 for your house? Yeah, I think we can get that. One, either they don't know because, you know what I'm saying, they're a newbie, or two, they were saying whatever they want to and they're telling the seller whatever they want to just to be able to get the listing. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, that property is probably not going to trade for, anything probably over $1 million. They're probably going to be close to that $900,000. So long story short, you know what I'm saying, I think in this market here, a lot of clients or a lot of sellers are choosing to take their house off the market because they're just like, hey, look, man, I just want to move. I saw this other house that I like. I just want to move there. But if I can't get that house and I can't get the number for my property, it's okay. We'll just stay here. We'll just stay here and wait till the market swings, wait till the market change, and then I can get what I want for this house. So you know what I'm saying? It's actually happening a lot, but I attribute that to a lot, as he said, to the seller's ignorance of the market, the seller ignorance of actually being able to sell their house for what it's truly worth in the market that we're in.
Gotcha. I think as well, like I said, I had this situation happen last year. You know, me being honest and me being just real, you know. I told the person, like, yeah, you know, I would, what you thinking of getting, I don't think is realistic. I would do an appraisal first just so you can have a gauge, you know, because you chose to build a house where you got a scatter site right there, you got a graveyard right next to it, you got a person that turn this private yard into like a used car like lot or junkyard. Nobody's gonna want to spend that type of money. You know, you should have did your research a little bit before you decide. I know you had the land right there, but you should have did your research before you decided to buy a house there. I mean, to build a house there. So you're not gonna get that, even though it's the specs are right. It's the location. You know, so get appraisal now to get you a more realistic thing. And I don't think till this day the house he chose to go with a different agent that kind of did what he wanted to do, and it sat there and it sat. I think it's still. I think he decided to rent it, you know, because it wouldn't sell. I told him that, you know, but sometimes, like Dave Chappelle said, when keeping it real goes wrong, you know. I would rather keep it real than waste all a lot of time. You know, try to put in the market and does this, that, and it's sitting that now you blame me. When I told you for the get-go that, you know, it's way too high. You know, you're not gonna get that amount. You know, you hoping and wishing. I guess you could hope and wishing. Let's see what happens. But I guess that's a strategy as well. You know, somebody, you know, what was it? Ringling Brothers, sucker born every minute. Then sucker might come in there and just pay top dollar. You know, more. It might happen. It could happen. So I guess that was, but it didn't work. Like I said, but you know, but most people are gonna fall to the pressure. You like it, I love it type, and let's see what happens just to get the listing. But don't forget we work on commission, so it's not, you're not gonna get any money until it sells. So you hoping and wishing. So both of y'all strategies hoping and wishing. You know what I mean? So
that's it.
You know, it's hope and wish. So if that's the way you get a listing, shoot. I mean, I guess it look good when people look you up. Oh, you got 3 listings, but they've
been on the market for 3 months.
They've been on the market 6 months, 8 months, a year, but you got them.
Yeah.
You know, so it is what it is, man. But shit, it's 12:30, man. I gotta get up in the morning. I gotta go get this first oil change on this truck, man. So shit, I gotta roll on out. So
All right.
We'll see y'all next week.
Next week. Later.
Peace.